Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Bethanne. Today I want to talk about the second of my 3 reading challenges that I'm setting myself for 2021. I posted my first challenge a few weeks ago. I'm calling it my Jane Austen Challenge, and link is there in the cards if anyone wants to check that out. Today I'm talking about what I'm calling my Goodreads Fantasy Challenge. So for this challenge, I looked at the Goodreads Choice Awards for 2020 in the fantasy category, and I'm going to read all of the semi-finalist books. I think I'm getting the stage in the competition right, but 10 semi-finalist books, with the caveat that a number of those books are the second, third, or even the fourth book in a series that I haven't started yet. And so for any book that's later in a series, I'm replacing it with the first book in the series to give those series a try. So I will point those out as I go through the list. Before I get started, I just want to note that this is an idea I got from Mara over on Books Like Whoa, and she did it with the sci-fi category for this past year. So meaning it was her reading challenge for 2020 using the sci-fi category from 2019. So I thought that was a cool challenge, especially with fantasy. I'd like to catch up a little bit with what modern fantasy is and what people are reading now and what people are liking and kind of where the status of the genre is today. So that's the goal of my Goodreads Fantasy Challenge. So without further ado, here are those 10 books in no particular order. So the first one is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, because the fourth book in his Stormlight Archive series, Rhythm of War, made it onto the Goodreads Choice Awards list. So I'm going to start with the first book in the series. That book needs no introduction. It sounds complicated. It's epic fantasy. It's very highly rated. I will say that with Brandon Sanderson, I've been a little bit loath to start reading him because I've read the books that he wrote finishing out Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, and while I think in some technical aspects his writing was kind of an improvement on Jordan's, I think a lot of people will claim that. To me, his writing, especially in that series, it just came across as like sterile compared to Robert Jordan's writing, and so I've always been a little bit like, do I want to go there? But everybody says he's amazing, so we're going to try it. Okay, number 2 is The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, which is the first book in the Devabad trilogy. And like with the previous one, the third book in that trilogy is actually the one that made it in the Goodreads Choice Awards for 2020, which is The Empire of Gold. So I'll be starting with The City of Brass. This one, the main character is a magician, magical con artist who accidentally summons a warrior djinn, and adventures ensue. So we'll see what that's about. Number 3, The Invisible Life of Addie, LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which of course has been getting a ton of attention around BookTube. In that book, the main character, Addie LaRue, makes a deal with a demon to live forever, but the caveat is that she'll be forgotten by everyone she meets, and so I think it covers like a 400-year time span. All right, number 4, I think we're on number 4, is Stormfront by Jim Butcher, which is the first book in the Dresden Files. So the 16th book in that series, Peace Talks, was on the Goodreads Choice Awards list for 2020, so I will be starting with the first book in the series. It's about a professional wizard who consults with the police about a murder. Sounds interesting. I have to turn the page on my notes here. All right, the number 5, I'm going to read House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, which is the first book, I believe, in the Crescent City series she's writing. And in that one, a party girl's best friends get murdered. She falls in love with a fallen angel who is hunting a demon, and it turns out that the whole city is in trouble. Who knew? Sounds like kind of a standard fantasy trope. The dark is rising, right? Sounds exciting. Number 6, A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, is the first book in a series called The Scholomance. It's a school for the magically gifted where you die if you fail. Sounds dramatic. Harry Potter with real consequences, perhaps. Okay, number 7, The Once and Future Witches by Alix E. Harrow. Witches meet the suffragette movement. Cool. Number 7, The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. The main character is a caseworker at the department in charge of magical youth, sent on a classified assignment to an orphanage where the Antichrist lives. I guess the Antichrist is a child. Sounds fun. Number 9 is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. 2 or 3, perhaps, people live in a fantastical labyrinth. And number 10, The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, which is the first book in her new Great Cities trilogy. In that one, every city has a soul, and NYC, New York City, has 6, 1 for each of the 5 boroughs, plus 1 to unite them all. And New York City is under attack from another dimension. That one I already read in 2020, and I'm going to reread it in 2021, and I'm very excited to reread it because I thought it was fantastic the first time around. So those are my 10 fantasy picks. I might run into trouble because I try my best not to buy very expensive new releases. N.K. Jemisin was an exception because it was a book I voted on for a book club, but also she's an author of color, and so when I am buying new books, I try to prioritize spending my money towards people who've been historically excluded from the publishing industry. So anyway, that said, I've got all of these on hold at the library. We'll see when they come in 2020. I've got a bit of leeway. I'll try to do 1 per month for 10 months of the year, so I have some flexibility to schedule that. So I hope you enjoyed my quick little snippets about what each book is about, and I hope you will stay tuned if you like fantasy and see what I think about all these books in the coming year. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment if you've read any of these books, if you loved them, if you hated them, and any that you're excited about. I'd love to hear what other folks are thinking about these. Thanks. Bye.